So I've come back and I am done with my title, and I decided to go ahead and add a little of the embellishing so that I could attach the banner that houses some of my title. For the large portion of my title, I went ahead and used the coordinating chipboard alpha from the Splendor collection. It's a nice sort of a wood grain look. It is not adhesive on the back, so I went ahead and used like the 2-inch Xyron sticker maker to adhere it. And then the smaller words are they're like a tiny type from Basic Gray's Hey Girl collection, which may or may not still be available at Joann's. I got those 2 embellishments that I had layered underneath the title out of the Splendor chipboard pack. Those are adhesive on the back, but I went ahead and popped them up anyway. And at this point, I really am just in the embellishment phase. The main part of my layout is done, and I just need to create an anchor for the big embellishments that are going to go at the top. So I'm using my foam adhesive to attach the corrugated clouds, which will be the anchor for a banner, which is what is going to go at the top. So the other thing I really know that I need to do is I need to add the butterflies that I distressed earlier. They are going to be a really big source of color on the layout. They're going to pull out some of those brighter shades from the background border, and they're going to really give a good visual, eye-catching place in each of the sections of my visual triangle. At the bottom here, where I just placed one of the small yellow butterflies, I decided that I need to bring in some of that navy blue. The navy blue is actually a pretty big color in this collection, but because of the papers I chose, it's not as prominent, and I wanted to bring it out a little. Also, my photos have a sort of blue tint, so and that was on purpose, so I did want to emphasize that a little bit. The big butterfly is going to go in this sort of second little corner of my visual triangle. I don't have anything super strong over there. That's why I decided to use the larger one of the 3 butterflies in that section. It also brings out some of that pink color that's in the background. And then the third butterfly I wanted to put up in the third corner of my visual triangle at the top here with the clouds. But since it's a sky illusion, I decided not to overlap it. I just kind of put it hanging there as though it was sort of flying over my clouds. So I don't know why I don't mist things before I have things that could be ruined on my layout, like pictures and journaling and stuff like that. I think I find that if I start a layout with the mist, I end up covering up most of it, and I go back and I put it on at the end anyway. So I just have streamlined my process by not going through that sort of unnecessary part at the beginning. I used 2 Studio Calico mists, Mr. Huey's in Passport and Piglet, which is like a navy and then a soft pink. So the main part of the embellishing that goes at the top of the layout is a banner, and on the sketch it's a pretty straightforward flag style banner. It's very even and pretty, but since this layout and these supplies are a little more random, not in a bad way, but they do have more of an eclectic look to them, I decide that I'm going to go to the labels and scraps that I have been saving throughout the layout, and I'm going to just create more of a free-form banner at the top that encompasses the eclectic random quality of the layout and of the supplies that I used. I'm really happy with the banner at this point, but I decide that there really isn't enough of a contrast between the pieces of the banner and the stuff I have going in the background. You can't tell that they're really square, some of the shapes, and they just need a little more something. So I take a piece of that graph paper from the DCWV stack, and I just mat all of my pieces for the banner. I didn't make you watch that whole process because it was pretty repetitious, but just so you know what my process was, I inked all of the banner pieces, I put them on the matting paper, cut them out, and then I inked around the whole outside of the element. Then I distressed them a little, just the same way that I did with all the other paper elements. So I'm pretty close to getting ready to attaching the banner and committing to that element. But I think I often find myself sticking things too early when I have a more free form or a curved element like this one is. And I have ruined more layouts just by sticking 1 second too early. So my attempt at not messing it all up right in the 11th hour is to go ahead and cut off the foam adhesive that I'm going to use and place down all of my pieces, adjust it to where I want it to be, and then once I have it in the perfect place, I just pick each piece up and I place it down right where I have already found the perfect place for it. I went ahead and left this whole process in so you can see that this decision really worked in my favor, and I ended up with something that was really straight and pretty and really looked like it was meant to be there. And I just love the randomness of it. So I decide that this idea that things are floating in the sky and that, you know, it's very whimsical can be emphasized by me adding some of these confetti pieces that are actually the positive of the pack of borders that came with the set. And it brings some more of the other colors back into those spaces. I don't think I detracted from the fact that those are sort of my white spaces. I just added a little bit of floating and movement and some really nice color into those spaces. So I'm pretty much done with the layout at this point, except that I look over and I realize I haven't used any of the brads. And the brad pack for the Splendor collection is so beautiful. I love it. And I wasn't going to finish this layout without using them. So I looked down and I realized that I have sort of the same banner shape in two different colors, and that I don't have a ton of pink in the banner. And I do have a lot of pink in the layout. So I decided to add one of the little square brads to a piece of my banner. It gave it a nice punch of that color that I hadn't added anywhere else. And then I also decide that I didn't really layer anything up with that pink butterfly, and the other little sections of the triangle, they have some layering and some busyness going on. So I go ahead and I add one there. And when I turn it over and I flatten that back part of the brad out, I don't want trouble putting it in my page protector. So I just put some tape over the top of it, and then I don't have any trouble with that later on. So this is my finished layout. I'm going to show you some detail of it here, and I just wanted to say thanks for joining me today. Go ahead and subscribe, follow my blog, I'll link to it in the comments, and bye!